The Meadows in Scotland's capital, now a public park, but once played host to the first ever Edinburgh Derby back in 1875. Since then, the rivalry has grown, and today we showcase the 630th meeting between Hibs and Hearts live on BT Sport. Good afternoon. The looming question is though, when will the next derby after this one take place? With Hearts already relegated, it could be a while, but then again Hibs are also teetering on the brink. It is a real prospect that both of these great Edinburgh clubs could go down together. The Jambos have made the journey east from Gorgie to Leith today in the direction of Easter Road. It's a short trip, less than 4 miles, and over 3,500 travelling fans have made it. They'll be packed into the away end, hoping to celebrate their 4th derby win this season. And the Hearts fans will also hope to drag Hibs further into trouble. In the bottom 6 of the Premiership, Terry Butcher's side are 8th, just 1 point above the relegation playoff spot. It's so tight between 7th and 11th place Kilmarnock. Hearts are already down, but could actually register more points than those above them if you take into account their penalty for administration. Gary McAllister is alongside me. We'll start today by paying our respects to Sandy Jardine, who passed away this week at the young age of 65. It's hard to put into words, Gary, exactly what this man meant to everyone in Scottish football.
Yeah, it was obviously very raw and emotional at Ibrox yesterday. You know, the passing of a true legend. The word gets bandied around very frequently in recent years, but we're talking about a true Rangers legend. And not to forget what he did here in the capital with Hearts.
That's exactly right. After over 600 appearances for Rangers, what a difference he made. When he moved to Tynecastle, of course, he was a Gorgie boy as a young man as well.
Yeah, Edinburgh boy, just, born right next to Tynecastle. You know, the fact is they were a point away or goals away from winning the Premier League. You know, he won Player of the Year at the right old age of 37. But the overriding thing, he was a class player, there's no doubt about it. But the overriding for me, we're from different eras. But every time that I met him, the guy commanded respect. You know, he was such a class act. And every time, in latter years, in his ambassadorial role at Ibrox, you're always greeted with a smile. And he was a man of quality.
He really was. And he played in so many Edinburgh derbies as well. Had a great record in this fixture. He would have loved a day like this.
Well, in games like this, the emotions are high. There's a lot at stake. People who like to take responsibility and thrive in the big occasion, I think that's what Sandy Jardine was all about. That's what this game needs. People to stand up and be counted.
Gary, thank you very much for those fitting words. Sandy Jardine, a man who will be dearly missed by everyone in Scottish football. This is the 5th Edinburgh Derby of the season, and like the last one 1 month ago, it's going to be another day full of drama.
Call it chance, call it a pleasant surprise, call it serendipity. While Hearts fans prayed for safety, Hibs fans sang for a party. But the Gorgie men hadn't read the script.
Oh, and is this going to be an early goal for the Jambos? It is! Unbelievable stuff!
Frustration for the visitors. Then things went from bad to worse.
What can Hibs pull out of the fire? There's the answer! Jordan Forster! But the flag is up and it's not going to catch.
Instead of reducing the deficit, Alan Maybury saw red. 1 goal down. It quickly became 2.
Billy King! And the message is clear. Not on this patch of Edinburgh land. Not in a derby. No relegation today.
Now the tables are turned. Yes, the Jambos are relegated, but they might still claim bragging rights over their ancient rivals, dragging them deeper into the relegation mire. Serendipity. Most Hearts supporters would simply call it payback.
It's the last Edinburgh Derby of the season as Hibs take on Hearts at Easter Road, live on BT Sport with a 12:45 kick-off. And I have repositioned up to the desk where I'm joined by Michael Stewart, former Hibs and Hearts player. Alan Archibald, the Partick Thistle manager, is here too, on a bit of a scouting mission. He plays Hibs and Hearts after this. Stephen Craigan is here too. Michael, I'll start with you though, because it's almost unthinkable that the tables would have been turned so much. Hearts arriving here in much the more positive outlook.
Well, I mean, it's only a short month ago since the last Edinburgh Derby. As you say, that the tables have well and truly turned. It's Hearts now that are buoyed by the recent results they've had, and who would have thought that you were in the position now where they could really be dragging Hibs into the mire. And I don't think anybody fully contemplated, even just a month ago, that Hibs would be in such dire straits. But that is the situation now, and if Hearts are to get a result here, Hibs are really left in all sorts of problems.
Hearts heading down to the Championship, of course. Rangers lifted the League One crown yesterday. Not quite sure what financial state they'll be in next season, but they'll be in it too. If Hibs go down as well, my word, what a league that could be, what a division.
Well, if you think that maybe Dundee don't get promoted and they end up, and then Dunfermline come up from League One as well, so it's going to be a competitive league, put it that way. If Rangers and Hearts both thought they had tough seasons this season, next season's going to be the same. Every club there is going to see them as a huge scalp. They're going to see it as an opportunity to make a name for themselves. They're going to raise their game, make it difficult for the young Hearts side. If they do go down, which obviously they are, they're going to need some experienced players to try and guide them through, get them through games. But with Rangers coming up also, I think the best they can probably get is maybe even playoffs.
Everybody wants to avoid that 11th spot. You as well, of course, Partick Thistle manager. It is just an intriguing watch for all of us. It must be an absolute nightmare to be in charge of a team in that battle.
Yeah, it is. It's stressful. It's stressful for every manager in the battle, but I think it's great for the neutral. I think the game's needed it. The First Division needed it at their end, and also the Premiership as well. It's been great for us.
And we saw that Friday night as well. Your team kicked off the weekend against St Mirren. Great atmosphere at the game. A point apiece. Fair reflection on the game or not for you?
Yeah, it probably was a fair result. We scored a wonderful goal. Callum Higginbottom with a great cross, and Chris Doolan with a great finish as well. It was an even contest. Both teams went at it. It was a good football on show as well. A bit of a soft penalty, as we'll see here. I thought
you might say that.
Yeah, I think Callum's caught wrong side, and to feel the St Mirren player does well to win the penalty. But we thought it was soft at our end.
It is so tight down there. We've already seen that bottom six table. You must be watching every result.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is everybody's capable of beating everybody else, and I think every manager knows that as well, and that's more or less your team talk every week. Look, we can go out and beat whoever we're playing. It's the same today as well.
Yeah, it was a big game as well in Dingwall yesterday when Ross County took on Kilmarnock, and they won that by 2-1. And my word, they needed this because they were 11th at the start of this game. Ross County, Derek Adams' side needed a big result. They got a big goal from Philip Quiche to start things off.
Well, they did, because Ross County's been watching everybody else winning games. Been watching Alan's Partick Thistle winning games. Hibs unfortunately haven't won any. But I think it was 5 defeats and 6 now for Kilmarnock. They're right in the mire. They're down to 11th place. But Ross County have got a lift. Teams don't like going up to Dingwall. It's a long way up there, so they have to try and use that to their advantage. They're going 2 up. Of course, they conceded later on. I think Richie Britton scores this penalty in the end, but it'll be big relief for Derek Adams because he's seen everyone else maybe making a bit of a gap above them, but now the gap's closed and they're right back in the mix.
Chris Boyd eventually got a consolation goal as well, his 20th of the season. I think a lot of people thought his goals would be enough to keep Killie out of trouble. Do you see it that way, Michael?
Well, just think of it, minus Chris Boyd's goals, what trouble they'd be in. I think there's no doubt about it that he's been a huge influence on the team, not just with his goals, but I think everybody in the game will tell you what an influential figure he's become for them this season. And I think it's a worrying thought for Kilmarnock. If they hadn't had Chris Boyd, I think they would have been caught adrift in 11th place already.
OK, to the top 6 and to Pittodrie. Aberdeen against St Johnstone again, and they must be sick of the sight of Stevie May, who scored again against the Dons.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. His goal, I think that's about 27, for the season. He just keeps on scoring, and St Johnstone will be hoping he takes that into the cup final as well.
Poor defending though, isn't it, on that goal, and by Chris Miller, who had a bad ball back that lets Adam Rooney in.
Yeah, it's very unlike St Johnstone team. They're very professional the way they're set up, and you don't see many mistakes from them.
Aberdeen, if they'd won that game, they would have qualified for Europe, I should tell you. It was the same scenario for Motherwell as they took on Dundee United at Tannadice. It was Stevie Hamill's 500th appearance. Stephen, for your old team though, it did not go well.
Well, I'm sure it's one Stephen will like to forget, but I think Nani Chiefchi, you can't take anything away from him. Anytime we've seen him live here in BT Sport, he's been terrific. He scores goals, he takes men on, he's creative, he makes things happen. But I think from Stuart McCall's point of view, he'll be looking at it and thinking the ease at which Dundee United scored some of their goals, the spaces in behind their back four, the gaps between full backs and centre halves, Stuart won't be pleased with. That's 14 goals in 4 games Dundee United have got against Motherwell. They've obviously got the measure off them, the pace, the sharpness, everything about them has caused them problems. But for Jackie McNamara, a terrific result.
Good goal by Stuart Armstrong, who's been great as well this season. But they seem to score excellent goals, and they've done this a lot this season.
Well, they're a fantastic team, from I think front to sort of middle to front. There's no doubt that they're up there with all the best teams in the league, and they're capable of ripping any team apart. And to score 5 against a well-organised team like Motherwell is no mean achievement. But as I said, they're definitely capable of it. But Nadir Chieftain, when you've got somebody like that in your team, who quite rightly I think he'll probably get named in the team of the year. I think you've always got an opportunity. I mean, you look at that second goal he scored there when the ball comes into the box. You see Ronaldo during the week in the Champions League, he blazes one over the bar like that. It's not an easy opportunity. They're a fantastic team, Dundee United.
Ainsworth got one back from Motherwell. It didn't really matter though. This is the table. Dundee United stay in contention for an automatic Europa League qualification place. Just 4 points behind Motherwell now. The gap between the Dons and Motherwell is also 4 points. And we saw the bottom six earlier on. It is so tight. Coming up, we'll refocus on this derby. The fans are arriving in good numbers. The teams last met a month ago. That was an emotionally charged day. In fact, there have been a few big moments in their last 3 league meetings so far this season.
And it's Callum Patterson! James Collins. And Collins scribbling. He's beaten McDonald, who has been saved. And it's gone in. Smith. Liam Craig remains icy cool. Oh, and is this going to be an early goal for the Jumbos? It is! Billy King, 2-0 to Hearts!
Lots of European football to come on BT Sport 1 tonight and tomorrow. Tonight at 6:30, the European football show features Lille against Bordeaux. Lille looking to secure Champions League qualification. And tomorrow at 7:45, same channel, the Serie A clash between Sassuolo and Juventus. Juve closing in on the Scudetto. Team news headlines here at Easter Road. Scott Robertson is back in, having missed 12 matches with a knee injury for Hibs, who make 4 changes in all. Liam Craig, the Hibs captain, returns to midfield. He has been out of favour at times. 2 changes for Hearts as well. Their captain, Danny Wilson, returns from suspension. And with Jamie Hamill banned, Scott Robinson is in. It is his 11th Edinburgh derby already. Much better news for Hearts on the takeover front in recent weeks. In fact, all ties with Lithuania could finally be cut tomorrow, and that means chairwoman in waiting Anne Budge would take control of the club. This is the lowdown on the future Queen of Hearts.
When Anne decided to give the Foundation of Hearts the capital to be able to put the bid in, I used the terminology that was like Dragon's Den, because not only did we get the funding that we required to put the CVA together, but we get Anne's expertise. She's a prominent Edinburgh businesswoman. She's great to be around. She's ruthless in business. She will be very good for Hearts in terms of turning them around. The club will like her, and of course she'll be the very first female chairwoman in Scottish footballing history. She's a fan like everyone else, and I think that means that the supporters have that connection with her first and foremost. But that's not to say that her heart will rule her head. This is particularly a very, very difficult business decision. There's lots of very, very hard decisions and hard choices to make at the club. The fans have been incredibly patient to get this far, and I'm sure they'll give Anne and everyone involved at the club their full support. She will be the executive chairperson of the club, so she'll be running the club on a day-to-day basis. She wants to get the financial stability right in the club. That's why the foundation requires the working capital to go in to stabilise the finances. She needs to grow the club. It's been hollowed out, and at the head of the company trying to make us in the best possible shape to get us back into Premiership's our primary goal, but lots and lots of work to be done. The getting Hearts out of administration is not the end of the process, it's merely the beginning, but there's a bright future and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to it.
Ian Murray, MP, speaking very highly there of Anne Budge. I wanted to ask you, going ahead, it seems whatever form Hearts are in next season, they're going to be run in a much more prudent manner.
Well, that's a good thing. I think that obviously the episode, the period of time that's been encompassed by Romanov's charges is shown to be not the right way to do things. I think that moving forward, Anne Budge will be in charge for the next 4 to 5 years until the fans take over. It will be more prudent. But Hearts is a club. It's the fans that have kept them alive. They've got a huge support. Even being run prudently, they're still going to be able to, potentially when they come back to the top flight, be able to pay better wages than the vast majority of the other teams. And it's an attractive club to play for as well.
And Anne Budge will have some big decisions to make. There was talk that maybe Craig Levein would be installed as manager. Gary Locke has been working away this season. The last time we spoke, you were quite critical of Gary Locke. Since then, results have turned around. Do you stand by what you said?
Oh yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's no doubt about it that the results there's been an upturn in the results, and that's the management team, the players have all got to take credit for that. But I look over the whole course of the season, and I think that things could have been done differently. I think that if things been done properly, I think that there could have been a chance that Hearts could have avoided relegation, which is a huge thing. Moving forward, obviously it's Ange Bud's decision to make whether she'll change the manager or not, but he has to take credit for the way things have upturned in the last month or so.
Alan, in that last month or so, you saw Hearts first hand when they went to Firhill. They won by 4 goals to 2. Sorry to remind you of that, but you must have seen the development of some of those youngsters first hand as well.
Yeah, there's been a real development, a real change in them as well over the season, and Gary maybe has to take credit for that as well, keeping them going. So there's a lot of hard times for them, but I think you've seen a difference when we played at Firhill. They're playing with right freedom now, a relaxation, and in a kind of weird way. Possibly relegations maybe let them relax and go and play football, and now you're seeing a wee bit of quality with them.
And we saw that day Billy King, Dale Carrick, absolutely outstanding. Who's caught your eye?
Well, I think it's Dale Carrick. I think you look at Hibs, who are struggling to score goals, and Hearts seem to find a little bit of a gem. He's only 19 years of age. Again, this is a game at Firhill, but when you're a young centre forward, you have to get yourself into good areas. You see the 2 centre halves are square on, they're watching the ball. Young strikers have to learn to get into those kind of areas. Take advantage of centre half's ball watching. He does that. He gets himself around the box. He's got that ability of finding space. You see here his movement. He's anticipating where the ball's coming from in the big derby. He anticipates that Rand Stevens is going to win the first header. Still a lot of work to do. His first touch has to be good. But as a young striker, if you can score goals, you can get into good habits at a young age, you're certainly going to make your way to the top.
He had a really good derby a month ago, that's for sure. Right, let's hear from both of the managers ahead of the game. Gary Locke and Terry Butcher have been speaking to Emma Dodds.
Terry, is this the perfect match to turn your fortunes around? Does this occasion lift the players in itself?
Yeah, it does, and it's been the perfect week in many aspects because we've had a good build-up. We had some good talking to do after the game against St Mirren, especially the start, and the boys have been, got a lot of things off their chest, same as us. So we've come together very well this week, and I think when you've got a derby match, the build-up is really one that has to focus your mind and does do. All the talk between the fans and the families and everything else like that, and friends. It's all leading towards 12:45 on Sunday afternoon. So yeah, we've had a good week, but we have to take that on the pitch now, and that's what really matters and really counts. And we're hurting after, still hurting after the last derby defeat, but there's reasons why we lost that game. But we want to put that right today.
You've made 4 changes. It's important all your players turn up today, but is it especially important your experienced ones lead by example?
Yeah, I said to the players, we've got 6 good experienced players on the pitch, some youngsters. Jason Cummings up front is only 18, but he scored against Hearts, same as Sam has, Sam Stanton, in the age groups below the first team level. So they've got a good friendship as well. So yeah, difficult decisions to make, but I've gone with a team with good experience, but players that can bring these young players along well.
Gary, 2 changes for you today. How much are your players looking forward to this derby match?
Yeah, I think it's a game all the players should look forward to. They're great occasions. We just played Hibs a couple of weeks ago, so they're very familiar to us. But the players are looking forward to the game, and hopefully we can get 3 points.
Yeah, you did play them not so long ago. You got a great result that day. What will you need to do here if you're to get another 3 points?
Yeah, something similar. The derbies, you've always got to win your individual battles, and when we do get the ball, we've got to use it wisely and move the ball quickly. And hopefully if we can do that, we've got players that can cause Hibs 1 or 2 problems.
Well, the last time you played, Hibs could have officially relegated you. Today, a victory for Hearts could really put Hibs in the mire. Do you want Hibs to go down into the Championship?
No, to be honest with you, I said it during the week. I'm not interested in, what happens to Hibs. I can only concentrate on Heart and Midlothian, and it's an Edinburgh derby. We want to win the game for ourselves and for our supporters after everything that we've been through this season. So, whatever happens after that will happen. But all we can influence is what happens at Hearts, and certainly today we're looking to try and get 3 points.
Well, thanks for your time, Gary. Enjoy the game.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
And that's his Terry Butcher right now, prowling in the home dressing room, just contemplating what is a massive day for him and for his club. Let's discuss Hibs then, because they are in a real state right now. 1 win in 15, 1 goal in the last 6 games.
Not a great set of stats, especially when you come to the business end of the season. I think the first goal today is going to be huge. If Hibs can actually manage to score, they might be in a good position. But on the other side, if Hearts score, I think Hibs will be in real trouble.
They've only scored the first goal once in the last 9 games, and there's been a lot of tough talking done in the press this week from the goalkeeper. Ben Williams said some of the players were spoilt. Michael Nelson's responded as well. They seem to be doing their talking through the media.
Well, it doesn't look good if you're a Hibs fan, or probably Terry Butcher as well. Players are speaking out. It's not the way I would have done it, but sometimes it takes that down. If it galvanises the players today, if it puts people in a foul well mood, if it kind of G's them up for the game, then it's going to work. I think that Ben Williams had said they were a little bit soft. I think Michael Nelson took it personally. I think as a team, Hibs are a little bit soft. I think the goals they concede, the back four get dragged all over the place. I think they're easy to score against. I think that's what he's meaning. That has to change today.
Alan, you also saw them recently. You defeated them by 3-1. Did you see confidence issues in the Hibs team that day?
Not early on, because they started the game really well, and I think that's vital today. They've got to try and use their support today to help them, rather than be on their backs, and they've got a massive support today as well, so they've got to start the game really well, which they did do against us, but they've got to keep it up.
OK, gents, thank you very much for now. Not far away from kick-off now. The last Edinburgh derby of the season, perhaps the last in a while. Even more reason to secure victory, to take the bragging rights away for the foreseeable. And then there's also that relegation factor for Hibs to their fight. The stakes are sky high. We'll be back in a few minutes, ready to go for a big 90 minutes. Almost set to go Easter Road. Hibs against Hearts, a massive Edinburgh derby. I'm with Michael Stewart, Alan Archibald and Stephen Craigan. Michael, Hibs have rung the changes again. Terry Butcher still looking for that right answer, the solution that he's not found recently.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head. He's not found it. Every week there's changes in the team, and yet again there is more today. And it's a real worry for the Hibs support at this time of the season. You would think that you would have a settled team, but unfortunately for them they don't, and you continue to look for that right blend, and hopefully he'll be hoping like mad that he found it today.
The last derby was quite an amazing game. Hearts won that, of course, and avoided being relegated by their greatest rivals. There'll be a carry-on effect. As the Partick Thistle manager in the bottom six, I guess you're looking for a Hearts victory, Alan.
I think any team in the bottom half of the league, it will not do any harm, but I think Hearts will have a massive say in how the league finishes at the end of the season. And the way they're playing as well will also affect it. Yeah,
they've got some key games to come in the next few weeks for everyone involved in that fight down the bottom. Stephen, you were with me in the last derby as well. Do you think there'll be any carry-on lingering effects?
No, well, I think Gary Lock will just say to his players, start the game the way you started the last one. Terry Butcher will be looking back to the game round about the New Year time, and he'll be trying to think what he said to his players that night to motivate them, to get them up for the game. This is huge for Hibs. If they win today, it suddenly relieves a little bit of pressure. All the negative stuff, all the negative press and negative stats, they have to try and put that to one side, focus on the game. But for Gary Lock's side, same again, boys, go out, enjoy the occasion and go and thrive.
OK, there's Danny Wilson, Hearts captain emerging. We're just waiting for Hibs, so let's hand over to our match commentators, Gary McAllister and Derek Ray.
Thank you very much, Darryl. Good afternoon, everyone. 4 weeks on from the last time, Hibernian and Heart of Midlothian are on a collision course in the capital again. It is the final derby of the season. It's a fixture we might not witness for a while, although given the malaise enveloping Hibernian, there are no guarantees on that score. Heart of Midlothian made a bold Tynecastle stand in the most recent Edinburgh skirmish. Now can Hibs grab the stage in this, their hour of need? Easter Road alive with atmosphere. So to the team news, Hibernian have gone with the side that did the rounds on social media yesterday. Whoever leaked that had it right. 4 changes from the 2-0 reverse in Paisley. In have come Ryan McGivern back from suspension. Liam Craig, a fit against Scott Robertson for his first appearance since January. And 18-year-old Jason Cummings. James Collins, Lewis Stevenson and Owain Tudor-Jones are on the bench. Danny Haynes misses out completely. Hearts make a couple of changes from the side that beat Ross County. Captain Danny Wilson returns from suspension and starts. There's a place too for local boy Scott Robinson. He makes his 11th Edinburgh Derby appearance. Jamie Hamill is banned following his rush of blood against the Staggies. Brad Mackay drops to the bench. Gary, the tactics.
Well, again, Terry Butcher shuffling the pack. This time we feel they'll go 4-2-3-1. The experience of Craig and Thompson just patrolling in front of that back four, allowing the youngsters Stanton and Harris to go and support. Another youngster Cummings up front, and fit again Robertson coming in off the left. Hearts similar, 4-2-3-1 again. Again with 2 holding midfielders and that attacking trio in the midfield of King, Stevenson to support Carrick.
Well, we are going to observe a minute's applause in memory of Margot MacDonald, independent MSP for Lothian Region and a fervent Hibernian fan, plus Sandy Jardine, one of Edinburgh's great football men, the former Scotland Rangers and Heart of Midlothian defender, and of course was assistant manager and co-manager of Hearts in the 1980s as well. Let us, here at Easter Road now, pause for reflection. Margot MacDonald and Sandy Jardine, two greatly respected figures here in Edinburgh. Just about ready for the off. And we've been here before, haven't we? And recently. It's a massive game for Hibernian, no two ways about that. And it will be Hibs to kick off, playing towards the Dunbar end of the ground, as it used to be known. Bobby Madden